Tonight, you scroll through a feed built by someone you'll never meet. You assume it started as a grand plan, but the real answer is far stranger than a master strategy. In 2003, a 19-year-old Harvard sophomore named Mark Zuckerberg wasn't building a company. He was reacting to a breakup, late at night, with access to student ID photos he wasn't supposed to have. He built a site called FaceMash, letting students rank classmates by attractiveness. Harvard shut it down within days for violating privacy and security policies. Why would something built out of anger become the foundation for one of the most valuable companies in history? Because underneath the impulsive project was something more useful. Zuckerberg understood instinctively that people are endlessly curious about each other. Later that year, 3 other students, Cameron Winklevoss, Tyler Winklevoss, and Divya Narendra, approached him to help build a Harvard social network called ConnectU. Zuckerberg agreed to help, then quietly built his own version instead. In February 2004, the Facebook launched from his dorm room. Here's the twist most people don't expect. Facebook wasn't the first social network. Friendster and MySpace already existed, with millions of users. What made Facebook different wasn't the technology. It was exclusivity. You needed a verified university email address to join. That restriction, which seems limiting today, created something psychologically powerful, a feeling of authenticity. You weren't friending strangers. You were connecting with people who actually shared your campus, your classes, your life. A Brazilian classmate named Eduardo Saverin provided the initial funding, roughly $1,000, and became Facebook's first business partner. As the site expanded to other universities, growth accelerated far faster than either of them expected. That's when Sean Parker, co-founder of Napster, entered the story. Parker convinced Zuckerberg that Facebook needed to think bigger, move to Silicon Valley, and pursue serious venture capital, rather than treat the company as a side project. This is where the story turns genuinely uncomfortable. As Facebook restructured to accept outside investment, Saverin's ownership stake was diluted from roughly 34% down to under 10% through a legal maneuver involving a new company structure that most people, including Saverin at the time, didn't fully understand. He later sued, and the case was settled privately in 2009, though the exact terms remain confidential. Saverin retained a small stake and Facebook credit, but the friendship, by most accounts, never fully recovered. Meanwhile, the Winklevoss twins sued separately, arguing Zuckerberg had stolen their idea entirely. In 2008, that case settled for a combination of cash and Facebook stock, once estimated at around $65 million. The twins later invested that settlement heavily into an early, volatile technology few people took seriously at the time: Bitcoin. Notice the pattern here. Nearly everyone involved in Facebook's founding ended up in a legal or financial dispute over who deserved credit and how much of the growing company they actually owned. That's not unusual for a company built on unclear early agreements between college students who never expected billions of dollars to be at stake. What is unusual is how thoroughly that conflict became public, largely because of a lawsuit's court documents, which later became the basis for the 2010 film The Social Network. The movie compressed years of complicated, overlapping legal disputes into a tight, dramatic narrative with sharp dialogue and a clear villain. Real events rarely arrive that neatly organized. Saverin has said publicly that many scenes were exaggerated for effect. Zuckerberg has said the film gets the emotional tone wrong, even where individual facts are accurate. Both things can be true. Dramatization and reality often blur, especially once a story becomes profitable to tell. What the film gets right underneath the dramatized dialogue is something simpler. Facebook wasn't built from a single flash of genius. It was built through founding disputes, diluted ownership, an outside mentor pushing for scale, and years of legal fallout that only became public because lawsuits generate paperwork. The billion-dollar company came first. The clean origin story came only afterward, stitched together from depositions, settlements, and one Hollywood script. Tonight, you scroll through a feed built by someone you'll never meet. And maybe now, you understand that behind almost every clean origin story sits a much messier one. still being argued about in rooms nobody gets to see.